Hello and welcome to Friday's second edition of Cracking the Cryptic, in fact, because on Fridays we often do a cryptic crossword video, and indeed I did one of those this morning, and a very fine puzzle it was too. So if you're into cryptic crosswords, check out the link. I'll try and remember to put it on the screen. But if you're more into your Sudoku, then we have another treat for you. It's been a week of treats, certainly in the Sudoku sense. Not if you've ever had to get a flight from Philadelphia Airport with American Airlines, but that's a different story. If you like Sudoku, we are going to try Drop by Zetamath and Friends, which I've no doubt will be brilliant. I did a puzzle by I'm used to zetamath. I'm not so used to zetamath and Friends, but I've done a zetamath and Friends puzzle, I want to say, a couple of weeks ago, and it was absolutely marvellous. So I've no doubt this will be absolutely marvellous as well. I found it on Logic Masters Germany, and it has 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, which is actually, that's quite generous of zetamath, who can ratchet up the difficulty as he likes. Anyway, this is what we're going to have a go at. It's called Drop. I can't remember if I said that, but it is. I don't know why. And it has got its normal rules, except these the peachy lines. They are entropic lines, which I suppose is probably normal. We just don't have them very often. But do not worry, if you're unfamiliar with all of these coloured lines, I will explain the meaning of them all before we kick it off and try the puzzle, which I will do in a moment or two's time. Now, what did I need to tell you before that? We've got over on Patreon, we've got our Skojo, Jojo and Jobo. Where is that? That's here. Sudoku Hunt, which is our monthly competition for August. Check it out. It's getting some lovely feedback, fully deserved, and the competition closes on the 20th. Now, what else? There was... I'm sure there's other things. I've got birthdays to do, so do not worry. I've still got to, actually, I'll start off with the apology birthday. Tom, you turned 30, and this was way back on the 26th of July. And your girlfriend Vicky wrote to us in plenty of time, and I just missed the message, so I'm so sorry about that. Things were a bit fraught over that period, but that's no excuse. And I understand you didn't even get chocolate cake. You had matcha cake. Which, well, okay, chocolate cake really would be better, Tom. But also it's just been your first anniversary, hasn't it, of when you started dating? I think that was back on the 6th. And thank you, Tom, also for introducing Vicky to the channel. I'm always delighted to hear of people proselytizing about Cracking the Cryptic. So, Tom, well done. And I hope you had a great day, even if my birthday wishes are delayed. Now, I think the rest of these are actually on time. I hope I'm not telling fibs there. We'll start off with Aidan, who is over in Oregon and has turned 23. And I know this because your partner Isaac wrote to us, Aidan. And Isaac described you as the sweetest person and a master of anything stitched, knit or sewn. And you've got a confetti cake. And I saw a picture of this, and I was jolly impressed. I know it doesn't look like chocolate, but it does look quite delicious. So, Aidan, I am quite jealous, and I hope you have a great day today. Next, over there in Greece, it's Anna's birthday, and Anna's turned 34, although I think you always say 25, don't you? And I know this. Are you over in Thessaloniki? I think I've been to Thessaloniki. I think it was a long time ago, but I think I have. I hope I'm not misleading you. Maverick's about to fly past, but Anna, the reason I know it's your birthday is that your friends, I'm going to say Evropi, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Irene and Antonis all wrote to us. Antonis could be. I don't know, I'm sorry. But Anna, I hope you have a great day today. Next birthday, a very important birthday in the sort of Sudoku world, David Ratner, who is one of the most wonderful, kind, enchanting and positive people that you will ever find in any community online, let alone the Sudoku community. An absolute pillar, doyen of the Sudoku world. So David, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today, and I hope you have chocolate cake. And next, Julia, although it's the Italian Julia, which I always want to pronounce Giulia, but I might be thinking of that film, The Wedding Singer. I'm not sure. I could be getting totally wrong there. So, Julia, many happy returns. I know it's your birthday because your boyfriend Marco wrote to us. And apparently the two of you found out independently that you both watch the channel, which is rather cool. And next, Erie. Erie, from your friend Dustin. Erie, I know that you watch both the crossword videos and the Sudoku videos, so thank you for doing that. And I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today. That's all the news. Let's turn our attention to doing some solving. Let's see what zetamath and his friends have in store for us. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Within a cage, digits do not repeat and must sum to the total given at the cage's top left corner. So that's normal rules. So those cells there, let's pick a colour, yellow. Those yellow squares sum to 21. But what you can't do to make that happen is something like that. Because although these 8s seem to obey the rules of Sudoku, they don't obey the rules of cages. We're not allowed to repeat a digit in a cage, so we couldn't do that. That would be too naughty for words. Along green lines, adjacent digits must differ by at least 5. So green lines are sometimes called German whispers lines for reasons that I can't remember. It goes back into the sort of annals of Sudoku history. But that means if this square here was a 3, this square here would have to be at least 5 different, so it would have to be 8 or 9. That's the way German whispers work. Digits on a purple line form a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. So if you found a 1 on one of these lines, the other digits would have to be 2 and 3 in order to ensure that the set of digits overall was a consecutive sequence. So similarly, if we change that to 9, then you'd have to find 8 and 7. It gets more complicated if you find a 5 on a line because it can sort of go up or down or be in the middle, but you get the idea. Now, the sum of digits on a blue line is the same within each 3x3 box. Oh, okay, so that's right. So this is region sum lines. I pause for a moment because that rule keeps being expressed differently by the Sudoku constructors of the planet. So sometimes it's expressed as box borders divide a blue line into segments, each of which has the same sum, but it amounts to the same thing. So what we're saying there is that those 3 digits sum to the same as this digit. This digit sums to the same as those 2 digits. Hopefully that is clear. Right, and then we've got any 3 adjacent digits along a peach line must include 1 digit from 1, 2, 3, 1 from 4, 5, 6, and 1 from 7, 8, 9. So along there we must obey that rule. So if we worked out that this was a 1, then we would know that these 2 digits couldn't include any of the digits 1, 2, or 3, because there would have to be a middly digit in one of these, and there would have to be a high digit in the other one of those. So it's a most peculiar rule. What did Simon and Garfunkel write about? He was a most peculiar man. Yeah, well, that's a most peculiar rule. Anyway, there are all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, the first thing I'm seeing here is 12 cages in 4 cells. They are quite restricted. There's only 2 ways of making that work. You can have 1, 2, 3, 6 or 1, 2, 4, 5, and you will note that there is a commonality between those 2 things. There must be a 1 and a 2. And in fact, I'm actually going to note something about that. And the thing I'm going to note is this square here. I'm going to claim that this purple square, I do like this new purple colour, I have to say, this purple square is a 1 or a 2. Because if it wasn't, what would happen in the world? Well, let's imagine it wasn't. Then where would we put 1 and 2 in row 3? They would have to sit in those 3 squares, wouldn't they? And they can't, because this is one of these funny peach lines. And it has to have only one of the low digits, and it would have a 1 and a 2. So that digit is definitely a 1 or a 2. Okay. There is one other thing I'm noticing there then, when I think about it. So I'm going to colour that for a moment. Whatever this is, let's say this was a 1, just for the sake of exposition. If this is a 1, then there is a 2 in one of these 3 squares. But there will also be a 2, of course, in one of those 4 squares. And that means that the low digit on this peach line is the yellow digit. It's definitely, well, it's clearly not the purple digit, but it can't be a 3, I suppose, is the point I'm thinking about. Now, yeah, okay, here is another point. So the 12 cages are proving profitable here. What would happen if the flavours of these 12 cages were the same? So imagine they were both 1, 2, 3, 6. That cannot work, can it? Because 1, 2, 3 and 6, or indeed 1, 2, 4 and 5, include precisely no high digits. So imagine these were both, let me just try and show you. If these were both 1, 2, 3, 6, then clearly these 3 digits here appear in those 4 cells there, and therefore in row 3 again they would all inhabit the peach line. And that would mean that the peach line could not contain a 7, 8 or a 9 digit. So what that means is that one of these 12 cages is 1, 2, 4, 5, and the other is 1, 2, 3, 6. Now, I'm not sure what that means. I feel like that's likely to be important, though. Let me just mull that for a second. No, I'm not sure. One of them is 1, 2, 3, 6. One of them is 1, 2, 4, 5. I was wondering if it was sort of trying to put pressure on these, but I don't think it is. Because you could always have a spare low digit in these sort of tips down here. I'm not sure. Let's try and find something further afield. What about, well, okay, we've got okay, right, what about the blue lines then? Because the blue lines have got something interesting. Yeah, there's some sort of naughtiness in play here, I think. I think there is a restriction on how many low digits we could have on in these squares. And the reason I'm thinking that is that this pattern here of blue squares is interesting. So I've done enough puzzles, region, sun, lines puzzles, to know that if you have 5 digits in the same box, the minimum that these cells can add up to is 15, because that's the triangular number for 5. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So, if these are at least 15, what are these 2 squares? Well, they must be higher than 5, because you can't write 5 into one and 10 into the other. So these 2 have to add up to at least 15. And we're going to have to put quite some low digits in this congregation, I think. Let me pick a better colour to sort of highlight the congregation that I'm talking about. Let's do a look at grey. Now, I haven't worked this out, but my feeling is that there's something going on with the number of low digits or how you put the low digits in these squares. Because, for example, it must be true to say that neither of these squares can be a 1. Because if either of these squares was a 1, the minimum sum for those squares is going to be 20. 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 20. That's too many for these to add up to. Now, if either of these was a 2, the minimum would be 19, and that's still too big. We could have double 9 here, couldn't we? So we can have 18, right? So the absolute best case is that one of these is a 3. And that's only possible. Well, that's only possible. You can only have one of these being a 3 if these do add up to 18, because you'd have to then minimize them with 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 adding up to 18, and that would be double 9. But if neither of these is low, then what happens? Then we have to have 3. No, it doesn't work. Right, that's it. Now my cogs have turned. Okay. So this is lovely. So the first 2 digits you get are those 2 digits, both being 9. It's very beautiful. It's classic zetamath, actually. It's sort of 2 weird constraints operating independently of one another, and then suddenly the mechanism meshes and it clicks into gear, and you go, now I understand, because it puts too much pressure. It puts too much pressure on the low digits. Because we know that the 12 cages already have hypothecated the 1 and the 2. We can never put 1s and 2s in those squares. So the only low digit we could put in these squares ever is a 3. Now we can't put 2 3s into those squares. So we could hide, but if we had no 3s and no 1s, we know we can't have 1 or 2 in these squares either. So none of these peach lines, or none of those peach lines there, can ever have 1 or 2 on them. So the only low digits we're thinking about putting on them is 3. And the point is, you can't put 3 into those 2 3s into these squares. You can't put 3s here and 3s here, because we know the 12 cages are different. And one of them is 1, 2, 3, 6. So that rules that out. So what we in fact are learning is there is a 3 in one of those squares. This is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. These are double 9. There is a 3. I don't really know how to pencil mark this, but one of these lines does have 3 on it. 9, yeah. Okay, so the only way to make a 3-cell sequence add to 9 from the digits 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 is to use 1, 2, and 6. So this must be a 4, 5 pair to add up to the 9 here with a domino. There's something else going on here, though. Okay, let me just think about this. So we've got one of the lines has a 3 in one of these, and then it's going to have a middly and a high digit in its box, or in the other box it lives in. And one of them has a 3 in one of these 2 squares, so that's going to have 1, 2, 4, 5 in its sort of tetromino. And this one has a 1 or a 2. Right, sorry, I'm not now seeing whatever there is else to see here. I don't... Well, I was going to say I don't think it's these digits, but it might be, you know, because there's a 3 in one of them and the other digit is high from a sort of entropy perspective. So what's going on? So one of these entropic lines has 3 here, and then it's got middly and high, but it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 6 in here. So the middly digit's going to be from 4, 5. And the high digit's going to be from 7, 8, 9. So one of them's got 4, 5 and 7, 8, 9. but we don't know which one. Now the other one is going to have a high digit in one of these two squares, so it's going to have middly and low, so it's going to have 3 and middly. Yeah, okay, so one of them has 3 and 6. This is complicated to see, but let me try and explain. Let's just imagine that this square is, I'm going to imagine this square is the high one, so that means that one's the 3. The point now is that we know one of these lines has a 3 on it, and it can't be this one, so it's this one. There would be a 3 in one of these squares. Now you can see that this tetromino here has to be 1, 2, 4, 5. So the other digit that's appearing with the 3, which is a middly digit, because we've had the high and we've had the low on this peach line, has to be a 6. So this would be a 3, 6 pair. So either this is a 3, 6 pair or this is a 3, 6 pair. And that is beautiful. Good grief. Right, well, I've done it wrong, but I've done it right in a way. Okay, let's go back, because what I'm now going to tell you is that this line is not 3, 6. This is absolutely lovely, by the way, because how could this be 3, 6? And, well, the answer, on the face of it, is there's absolutely no reason this can't be 3, 6, except when we think about that line. How could this line be a renban, be a consecutive sequence of digits, 3 consecutive digits, if we can't use 3, 6, or 9 in this sequence? Well, you can't use 7 or 8 because you're going to run into a 6 or a 9 by the time you try and make a 3-cell sequence. You can't use 1 and 2 because you will run into 3. And between 3 and 6, there's only 2 digits, which are 4 and 5. So again, you run into the 3 or the 6, so it doesn't work. That's absolutely gorgeous. So hang on, let's just try and understand what zetamath and friends have done here. So they've started off with 12 cages. They've noticed that there's, and they've noticed entropic lines are interesting as regards low digits. They've combined that with region sum lines, and then they've used the shape of this one with a renban at the bottom of the grid, the dropped renban, to force this one to be the 3, 6. It's really clever. It's really clever. I very much appreciate that. Well, and this is huge, because now this one has to be 1, 2, 4, 5, and this one has to be 1, 2, 3, 6. And that means this one is the 3. So this has a 4, 5 on it. It still might put pressure on this, One of these is 4 or 5 because it can't be 6. And one of them will be high and will have to be a 7 or an 8. So these digits are from 4, 5, and 7 and 8. And it's one high and one low. But, no, okay, so this could easily be 1, 2, 3 then, perhaps. Maybe that's what it has to be. No, it doesn't, because if this was 4, 8, this could be 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I don't know how that works. And now I'm stuck. Hang on. So, how do we do this then? There must be a purple up there. I mean, I might as well label that up. The other digits over here are 7, 8, and 9. I don't know if that's important, but I'm going to notate it. Yeah, yes it is. It is important, because there must be a high digit on this peach line. I don't know what it is, I don't know where it goes, but there is a 7, 8 or 9 in one of these 3 squares, and that makes a virtual triple in the row, and this can't be 7 or 8. So this is the high one, and this is the low one. Oh, I tell you something as well, look at that. that sixsome there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 7, 8, 9 triple as well. So that's not the high digit. It's in one of those two. Oh, okay. Now I don't know what to do. Is this in any way obvious? Yes, I hear you all chorus. I'm sorry if it is. What's that digit? Can we... That must be under pressure, mustn't it? From a sort of Sudoku-y perspective, is my impression. Because it can't be 7, 8, 9. It can't be 1, 2, 3, or 6. It doesn't have to be a 4 or a 5. Oh, that's... Well, that's... Oh, is that true? I think that is true by Sudoku. So Sudoku, I mean, it's outrageous being made to do Sudoku in a Sudoku puzzle, but I think I've been made to do it. If this is a 4-5 pair, what is the middly digit in this sequence? It seems to have to be 6. It's not the middle digit either. That's it. Okay, so actually, look, I've now worked out where the high digit goes. Because this digit can't be the low digit. We know the low digit is a 1 or a 2 on this line. So these digits are from 1, 2, and 6. And there's definitely as well. I might as well put the 6 in the corner. But now this digit is a 3. That digit is a 6. That means that digit is a 6. So that's not the yellowy digit. So this isn't the yellowy digit. The yellowy digit is in one of those two. One of these is definitely a 3. There's a 3 up here by Sudoku. This isn't a 9 actually. So this is a 7 or an 8. So it's quite... what about that digit then? Yes. I could have done this. I could have thought about this digit already. This digit can't be a low digit. Let me just explain. There are some secrets to do with German whispers lines that are going to be important here, because you can never put 5 on a German whispers line. And that's because the next digit becomes impossible. If you put 5 here, this digit has to be at least 5 different from 5. And if we go down, we get to 0 or lower. If we go up, we get to 10 or higher, and they won't work. So we can sort of categorize digits along a German whispers line as either above 5 or below 5. Now let's think about whether this could be below 5 digit. It can't be 1 or 2, so it would have to be a 3 or a 4. 4 only partners up with 9 on a green line, and 3 only partners up with 8 and 9. And this 9 prevents both of those things from happening. So this simply cannot be low. It can't be 6, it can't be 9. So it is 7 or 8. And now, this column hasn't got any 3s, 4s and 5s, and that can't be a 3. There's a daunting amount of Sudoku going on in this row, I fear. 9, that can't be a 9, because the 9 in this row is over here. What about... Oh yes, look, there's 7, 8s and 9s as well, because we've effectively got a sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quintuple, or no, sextuple in box 3. So, oh no, I thought I could get the 9 in box 2, but I can't quite. I can get the 9 in this box though. It goes in the corner, I think. So there's a 9 in one of those 3 squares by Sudoku. Right. Now what do we do? I could do maths on this box using a secret I'm aware of. I doubt it'll be helpful. I'll just mention it because it just occurs to me that I can do it. Well, the secret of Sudoku, and it's something I share with only my very favourite people, but if you're watching this video, you're definitely one of my favourite people, so I'm going to tell you. The secret is that a whole box of a Sudoku must sum to 45 because of the rules of Sudoku, because the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. Now, 45 is an interesting number in that it is divisible by 3, and there's a trick you can do with a 3-cell renban, or 3-cell purple line, because a 3-cell purple line must also be divisible by 3. And the way that you can work that out is by thinking of the centrally valued digit on here. Let's call that x. Because we know this is a consecutive sequence, then the sum of the digits along the line would be the x, which is the middle one, the x plus 1 digit, and the x minus 1 digit. You sum those digits up, you get 3x. 3x is obviously divisible by 3. So this is divisible by 3. 22 is not. So what we're going to have to do is sort of correct the count. These 6 cells altogether must be divisible by 3 because 45 is divisible by 3, and whatever this line adds up to is divisible by 3. So what are we going, which modulo set are we going to, we're going to need this to be remainder 2, aren't we, when it's divided by 3, because 22 is remainder 1 when it's divided by 3. So this could be something like, I don't know, 5, 8, 11 is what I want to say. The thing is, that's not actually helpful. 5, 8, 11. 4. No, it really isn't, because it goes up as high as 17, so it could even be 8, 9. Right. Let's label these digits because this is 7 or 8, these must be 5 different. In fact, that is not 3. Look, oh, so that is one of our special digits. That's either a yellow or a purple digit. There must be a yellow or purple here. In fact, let's label this up, because yellow and purple certainly live in this congregation of digits. Oh, bobbins, I don't know. Therefore, hang on. If we've got, right, then we can do something here. Look, we can't. Where's 6 in this column? We can't put 6 on the renban at the bottom because we can't put 7 or 8 on it. So it would be 6, 5, 4, and this square would break if you put 6 on this renban. So 6 is in one of those squares. So 6 is in one of these squares. And we can't put 5 on here either, can we? Because if we put 5 on here, given we can't put 6 on here, we're going to have to put 4 on here, and that's going to break this square as well. So this line is selected from the digits 1, 2, 3, and 4 only. So which means it must have 2 and 3 on it. It's either 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sure that's doing something. My brain isn't being intelligent enough to work out what it is. Naughty brain. That's not 9. Being reduced to doing Sudoku again. Oh, sorry. Let's try. Well, I tell you something that might be of a thought. What's the nature of that digit? And I'm thinking there, can this be a high digit? Now, if it's a high digit, oh, my phone's buzzing, that's all right. If it's a high digit, it can't be 9. So it would be from 6, 7, and 8. But that would mean these squares, which have to then be 5 different from this, would only be selectable from 1, 2, and 3. And look what happened. Look what's happened to column 9 now. I've got 4 cells selected from just 3 different digits, which will necessitate a problem with Sudoku. So I think that middle digit there has to be a low digit. And it can't be a 4, because if it was a 4, that would be surrounded by double 9. In fact, it can't be a 3, because 3 would be surrounded by 8 and 9 and break this as well. So this is a 1 or a 2, and now I've got a pair, and that means this is yellow, and that means that square's 3 because it can't be yellow. That's lovely. This is now whatever yellow happens to be. As Maverick does another fly past. So, oh no, we don't know. Because we don't know whether, if yellow was 1, then we would be away, because we'd know that this line was 1, 2, 3. But if yellow's 2, this could be 2, 3, 4. And then this would be 1, and there would be a 1 here. Don't know. Okay, what are these digits then? Oh, they don't. Ah, okay, so that's a 7, 8 pair. Sorry, because we've got the 6 over here. So this column is sort of done. Oh, this is it. We can do Sudoku. I mean, there is far too much Sudoku in this Sudoku puzzle. But look, now these squares are 4, 5, and 6 by Sudoku, which means there's no 4 on this line, which means this is a 1, 2, 3 triple. So we've got sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are from 4, 5, and 6 by Sudoku. We might want to think about the 21 cage now, which has already got at least... Yeah, this is purple, in fact, because the minimum I can make these 3 digits add up to would be 7 plus 8 plus 4, which is 19, which means this square is 1 or 2, and it's not yellow, so it is purple. So that's not purple, and that's not yellow by Sudoku, look. Where is 3 in this box? That's a good question. We can actually answer that straight away. This square is 4 or 5 by Sudoku. 3, oh, 3 is nearly on this whisper. So if this was 3, this would be 8 or 9, which might be fine. I'm not sure. 9, this is a 7, 8, 9 triple, so that's not a 9. So this is a 9 using the power of Sudoku. 7, 1, 2. This is 1, 2, 4, or 5. I mean, it's a dreadful pencil mark. Forgive me for making that pencil mark, but I will do it. Needs must. So what have we not really used? I thought about that, didn't I? I didn't seem to do anything. Oh, you can't put 1 or 2 on this line. Yeah, maybe it's here. This Renban. I've not thought about that at all. Where's, okay, here is a simplistic question. Where's 9 in this column? And the answer is definitely not on the Renban, because the Renban would be 9, 9, 8, 7, and that would break this square. So 9 is in one of those 2 squares. That's the first thing we can say. Now, the corollary of that is we can then ask where 8 goes as well. And there's no 8 down here for exactly the same reason. There would be a 7 and this square wouldn't exist. But the problem is we don't know that the 8 is in one of those 3 squares because it could be here. So the only way this has 7 on it is if it goes 7, 6, 5. Which might be possible. 7, 6, 5 is 18. 18 plus 22 is 40. This would add up to 5. Which is perfectly possible, probably. Okay. But we can't put 1 or 2 down here, can we? We might have to be a bit careful. It feels like there might be a constraint on this whisper with, say, low digits. I'm unsure. I'm a little bit unsure about how to exactly... about where the natural place to look is. This can't be 1, 2, 3, because that would break this. And it can't be 9, 8, 7. And it can't be 8, 7, 6. So this sequence of digits, it's either 4, 5, 6 or it's 5, 6, 7, isn't it? It's only got 2 options. And that means this square's not a 5, which is a tiny deduction, but perhaps worth... right. by Sudoku, because this line has to have a 6 on it, by Sudoku, that green line has a 6 on it. And 6 is always interesting on green lines because it's monogamous. It only partners up with the digit 1. So we can't put it in the middle of the line, because if we were to do that, we'd get 2 1s in the box. So this is not 6. 6 is on one of the extremities. Therefore, that digit is the monogamous 1. Which means 1 is in one of those 2 squares. We know there's either purple or yellow up here, or both, but we still don't know whether it's equating with the 1 or not. Oh, there we do. There we go. We've done it. It's here. There it goes, across the grid. So purple has become 1. So let's fill in all the purples with 1, which means all the yellows are 2. So this is a 6 now. Which means this is 1, this is 2. So we've got a lot of tidying up of colours to do in the middle box, but we can do that fairly straightforwardly. That one, I don't know if we know that. These are definitely not purple. This square is certainly not a 2, is it? So the 2 is... So we don't quite know... Oh, sorry, I don't quite know how to just fill in everything. Well, let's think about these squares. Oh, this can't be 3. 1 and 3 are definitely not 5 apart. Maverick, will you raise your aileron, or however it is you go higher? Right, these digits then are high. They're from 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that's definitely not 9. In fact, look at this digit. It's not 7 or 8. There's a 7-8 pair in row 6. So that is the 6. That's a shame in a way. So this, right, so now we've got a 7, 8, 9 triple in, well, that's good actually. Yeah, I've got a 7, 8, 9 triple in those 3 squares. And that means that square can't be a 9. So this has to be a 9. Do I trust that? Well, how did I get... Yeah, no, that was a legitimate. That was thinking about this column. Okay, no, I believe that. So now I've got a 7, 8 pair in row 4, and that's the 9. Okay, that's good. This 6 means this is a 6 by Sudoku. So now I've got a 4, 5 pair here. This has to be 7 or 8. I've got a 7, 8 pair here. There's all sorts going on now. Where is the 2? It's in one of those 2 positions. It's 2, 4 and 5 that we've not placed, but there's definitely a 5 on this line, so that's become 5, and the 2, 4 pair is resolved by Sudoku. So this is quite a thing now, and this being a 4 knocks 4 off that bottom line. So it's become 5, 6, 7. That resolves an 8 up here. Does that go? It goes a bit. 7 is the high digit on this peach line. Oh, I thought that might go a bit more, but it's being recalcitrant, I think. I've got a 4, 5 pair here, so this square has to be a 1, and 1 is a purple. So let's make that purple. That suggests this is purple, but I'm not sure we can absolutely guarantee it yet. Where's the next easy win here? Is it going to be that can't be 9. Oh, I suppose we can do some maths on this, can't we? Or can we? Perhaps not, in fact. These add up to 20. I know that doesn't it doesn't work. Well, no. Oh, it does mean there's a 7 in one of these 2 squares. Otherwise this would be an 8, 9 pair and it would get too big. So that's not a 7. So it's either 7, 8 with a 5 or 7, 9 with a 4. So this is never 6, I suppose. That's another thing we could note. There's a 1, 2, 3 triple in row 7. Oh dear. Okay, I must know that digit. Oh, that's a 1, which is purple. Just by Sudoku, look. Does that do much? I feel like we must be able to fill in all the ones. Although, no, I don't... Well, no, I'm not sure. I could certainly put one in the 22 cage, couldn't I? Yeah, okay, let's do the maths on this, because we've got 18 plus 22. That is 40. So by the secret, these two squares add up to 5, which means they're either a 1-4 pair, which would have to be that way round, or a 3-2 pair, which would have to be this way round. So this is one of these purple-yellow digits. Now, can we do any better than that? Golly, it looks very constrained. 5 here. This square here is not 5. So this is 2 or 4. Oh, bobbins, I'm sorry. I can't see how to finish it. Let's think. Is it going to be... It's going to be some sort of dodgy Sudoku, isn't it? I suppose one thing we can say is that this cage has got 8 and 9 in it. And the 9 must be in one of those squares, which means that, that is useful. So that knocks 9 out of this, which makes this a 7-8 pair, which makes that 9, but it also makes that 5 by dint of mathematics. So this becomes 4, 6. Is that not going to do anything? There's got to be an 8 in here as well. That might do something, because there's an 8 here. So the 8, yeah, that does something. So the 8 in row 9, look, where's it going? It goes in one of those squares, and that makes this little square have to be a 7. But if that's a 7, that fixes this 7, 8. It fixes 7 here, 6 here, 5 here. This 7 on a whispers line can only... Oh, that's lovely. It forces this to be a 1-2 pair. And now, finally, we know the order. That one has to be the 1, and that has to be a 2. Therefore, that one, which needs a yellow digit, is a 2, and that's a 6. This is lovely. It's a very lovely puzzle. So now, there's a 6 in one of these squares. This square here is an 8. And this square here is a 3. I suppose I should tidy up my colouring, so let's do that quickly. That one doesn't deserve anything. Still, so I've got this pattern here that I don't understand. I know one of these is the 1, but I don't think I know. Yeah, we're going to have to do something like knock a 4 out of here, or knock a 2 and a 3 perhaps. It's very hard for 3 to live in that 22 cage, but it could perhaps go here. So we might have to just be a bit circumspect about that, just for a few more moments, hopefully. 4, 5, that's their 5, that's 4, 4, 5 by Sudoku. Okay. I feel like we've almost done everything that we can do. Is it? I don't know where to look. Let's try this column. 3, 4, 5 is what we need. So the 8 doesn't go here, sorry. So this is 8, therefore that's 6, that's 4. Yeah, that's done it. Because now, where's 4 in this box? And I don't know the answer, but it's in one of those two squares, and that is going to mean that's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion, which we know must go with a 2, which we know is yellow. So this is now 4 up here. That's 5, that's 2 in the corner. That's 4. So this is 4. This is 5. This is 3. And now what do we need? 7 and 5 at the top. So we can put 5 here. 5 here, 7 here. And that square ought to be gettable. That's a 3. So everything gets resolved by this cage, does it? So this is a 4-8 pair, and the 4 here is useful. So the 4-8 then gives the 8-7, which gives the 7-9, which gives the 7-8. And these two squares are 1. So 1 did end up in this cage, and 9. And that 1 resolves the final. Well, no, that 2 could have done it as well. That is a very, very pretty puzzle. So let's just make sure that we've labelled everything. Oh, no, still haven't done it properly. There we go. All the 2, oh no, and fill in the puzzle. Make sure we finish the puzzle as well. Okay, so we've probably filled in all the digits. It looks like I've got 9 yellows. It looks like I've got 9 purples. Does this cage add up? It should do. Yeah, that feels right. I reckon this might be right. Let's see. Yes. Solve counter 1. What? No, this isn't a new puzzle. Well, I liked it very much. Why is it solve counter 1? So whoever's put this in the software for me has created it anew. I have no idea why. But we have solved it, and that's very marvellous. It was beautiful. It really was beautiful. The break-in's beautiful, and I love these rem bands at the bottom and the way they get restricted. And there's so many different techniques at work here. You know, I don't know, if you've never seen this trick with 5 region sum lines appearing in the same box before, it might not occur to you that these are under pressure and that the low digits are under pressure here. And that might mean that these two squares, you know, because I felt that these were under pressure and I'd noticed the 1s and the 2s, I could sort of see what might be going on in the nefarious zetamath's brain, sort of the Moriarty of the Sudoku world. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful puzzle with lots of different little techniques at work, and the digits again dancing before our eyes. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.